Motherfucker.
So, hang on one second. A list of my dates.
Yes, they should be. Here
Yeah.
they go.
Hey, we'll see you in Ashland, Virginia, and Athens, Georgia, and Rutherford, New Jersey, and Minneapolis. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets. Okay, put that on the front of all the clip from today. I appreciate that. I don't oppose Caitlin Johnstone. This is very well said. She's such an amazing writer. She says, I don't oppose the butchery in Gaza because I love Hamas or hate Jews or love Islam or hate America. I don't oppose the butchery in Gaza because I'm a lefty or a commie or an anarchist or an anti-imperialist. I oppose the butchery in Gaza because I'm not an effing psychopath. I could just end it there, but she's got a lot more good stuff to say. She says, opposing Israel's butchery in Gaza is so obvious, so common sense, such a bare minimum fundamental level being human 101 position that if it isn't immediately self-evident to you after learning the basic facts, your problem is much, much deeper than whatever ideology or bias or prejudice you might happen to have. That's why it's very hard for me. Like, I have friends who are Zionists, and, they like to do the thing, Jimmy, it's war. Look what we did in World War II. Yeah, and then we had the Geneva Conventions to make sure you can't ever do that again. To make sure the stuff that we did, you're not supposed to ever do. And when we do it, it's supposed to be a war crime. And it's supposed to be the worst thing you could do as a human being. So it is crazy to watch the mental gymnastics that people who are Zionists and on the side of Israel in this conflict do to themselves to maintain it. There's something wrong with you as a person. That's what she says. If you support Israel's butchery in Gaza, you've got much bigger problems than merely not having the correct ist or ism belief system. You're just all effed up inside. Your conditioning has made you into a generally shitty human being. You have deep and immensely consequential flaws in your character, and you won't mature as a person until you heal and transcend them. Now, I think I know people who are great human beings and courageous in other areas, but for some reason, when it comes to Zionism, they just turn into this. So I would disagree when she says that you are generally shitty human beings. It's amazing how people can be generally great human beings and then horrible when it comes to this. Now, if you're it's hard to redeem this, right? That's why it was such a heartbreaker for me with RFK Jr., because it's like, dude, you say so many good things that we need to be said, but I can't be for this. I can't be seen being for this. I can't be for this. This is beyond the pale. As Kyle Kalinske used to say about Joe Biden, it's beyond the pale. I don't know if he said, maybe he's back saying that. Who knows? But he stopped for a long time after he dyed his hair. So that is the weird thing. Don't you know people who are generally good people, but for whatever reason fall on the side of Zionism? Lots of Jews are anti-Zionists. The most religious Jews, the Hasidics, are against it. Opposing Israel's atrocities in Gaza doesn't make you a good person. It just makes you a normal person. And supporting Israel's atrocities in Gaza makes you a bad person. Well, it's just amazing to me that you have to, fight this fight. Really, I have to debate you over slaughtering children? That's debatable. It just seems crazy to me that just like you have to debate bodily autonomy during COVID. The people who my whole life said, my body, my choice, all of a sudden said, no, it's not your choice. It's the government's choice. It's your employer's choice. It's our choice, and it's not your choice. It's amazing that it's like, what? I didn't know I didn't think we would ever have this argument. Nobody gets any points for opposing an act of genocide. That's just the basic bare minimum requirement for a normal human being with a functioning empathy center in their brain. That's what I thought. That's what I used to think. That's what I still think. If you can't meet that basic bare minimum standard, you deserve to be viewed with suspicion and disdain. And anyone in your personal life who cares about truth, morality, and humanity should seriously reassess their relationship with you. So that's Caitlin Johnstone. That's how she feels. And, you know, it's just amazing to me. But it's just like the same people with COVID. It's like, I can't cut all those people out of my life because it's most of the people I know who got COVID wrong. And what I'm going to do is engage the people who are Zionists. I'm going to engage them and keep trying to get them to see what she's saying. That to be against a genocide is bare minimum standard. You deserve that just to be a human being. I'm going to keep engaging with them. I think once you start shutting, like, even when it comes to something like this, I mean, look at all the carnage that happened because of COVID and the people who supported injecting you against your will with an experimental medical treatment. Look at about all the people who supported, with no scientific backing whatsoever, lockdowns, which crushed people, caused many deaths. Some people say more deaths than COVID. Some people say. That's not what we're saying. That's not what the FDA and the CDC says, that's for sure. So people who still wear masks. When you wear a mask, it's like you just put a billboard on your face like, I don't look into things. I haven't looked into this. I don't question authority. And I've been propagandized. You know, Fauci doesn't wear a mask anymore. Wouldn't that make you think a little bit? Anyway. So, I love Caitlin Johnstone. I think she writes great. I think she makes a lot of great points. I agree with her that opposing genocide should be the basic for being concerned. So I'm just going to keep, but I saw all those people during COVID just abandon every principle that they had. And so you have to constantly keep engaging. I think when you shut people out, it makes things worse. But I mean, I agree with you know, everything she says here, except, you know, with the caveat that I have to keep engaging those people, and because just like with the COVID idiots, there were a lot of good in those people, even though they demonized me, they turned their back on every principle they had during COVID, questioning authority, not following rules without question. They turned their back on free speech. They turned their back on bodily autonomy. They turned their back on pushing back against big pharma propaganda. They turned their back against having a healthy skepticism of government. They turned their back on everything. So, what's the answer? The answer, my answer is to keep engaging those people, and you know, don't allow their hate to turn you into a hater. It's not easy. I certainly have a lot of anger for the people, certainly like people like Chris Cuomo, who now tries to absolve himself in the most disgusting, duplicitous way possible. It's transparent. Everybody sees it. Thank God. Thank God. So, anger can be helpful. I think hatred is almost always destructive. And, you know, not that you don't fight Zionism. I fight it. just like I fight fascism. But this we have to stop the era of cutting people out, and we have to start because that doesn't work. It just makes people more solidified in their position. So, okay, over to Steph.
Okay. All right, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Whew. Quite an article, quite an opinion piece. Fun fact, in 1492, the Ottoman Empire sent ships to rescue Jews from the Spanish Inquisition, Sparky 63. Make Israel Syria again in those Ottoman Empire days. Levant Jews got along fine with their neighbors, whether Muslim, Christian, or otherwise, Sparky 63. How dark must your soul be to find joy in the destroying aid meant for starving, sick people under siege? Satan is going to have his hands full with these sickos. Bob, thank you. Hannibal Directive is evidence enough how Israel government feels about its citizens. It's one big inbred abusive cult, and that must mirror how the parents treat their children. Adult behavior results from parenting. Hannesser. U.S. has run out of weapons and ammo to ship. They're using the delay to make it look like Biden is standing up to Israel while they wait on more to be produced. Sparky, 63. Free Ashley, 2024. Holy. I can't wait for Jimmy to talk to Joe Rogan again. I just hope it's recorded on a Monday. I want to see JD on Kill Tony as well. LOL. Jeff Saucerman. Thank you, Jeff. Chris says, interesting that all the cases against Trump are failing now that he supported giving money to Ukraine. Coincidence? Rockfin. Krish? June 6th commemorates the attack on the USS Liberty. It would be great if you could cover the story and interview a survivor on your show. Thank you for that, Seth Bob. Every time someone says that Israel is our only friend in the Middle East, I can't help but think that before Israel, we had no enemies in the Middle East. U.S. missionary John Sheehan. Thank you, Sparky, for that reminder. Okay, let's go over here. Tomorrow night, Tuesday, in the city of, here we go. Tomorrow night, Tuesday, in Santa Monica, Tuesday night, has a demand for U.S. support for an immediate and lasting ceasefire amid a release of all hostages on both sides. Thank you for that. Another worldview, much appreciated. Okay, let's get these other Rumble rants. Okay. U.S. has run out of weapons, ammo to ship. Okay, I read that one, Sparky 63. Have you all ever had Scott Horton on the show? He's a libertarian and really knows his stuff about foreign policy. Dave Smith and Max Blumenthal talk to him pretty often. Rocket Mummy, thank you for that recommendation. Scott Horton, add it to the list. Scott Horton.
I've been on Scott's show. It's just an oversight.
You're right. I mean, there's so many people that we get recommendations to. And again, Kate Cotwas, thank you for Jonathan Peugeot's information. Much appreciated for that. Filled out, shared it. Alice Miller called it barriers in the minds. People who are repressing material from childhood will block other facts and realizations from their consciousness automatically. Learning about trauma is so important. Hannesser, thank you for that. Anyone who is absolutely nauseated with the state of our society and current world is barely even alive. To be alive is to be aware, conscious, and mentally present. Hannesser. I turned 30 today, 1 foot in the grave. I know, and treated. Why would you say 1 foot in the grave and you turned 30? Huh? And treated myself to see you all in Denver this past Saturday. Jimmy, I was nearly matching hair, shirt, pants, except the shoes. Thank you, Beach Sumpson. June 6th commemorates the attack on the U.S. Liberty. It would be great if you could cover the story and interview a survivor on your show. Seth Bob. I read that one, right? So
okay.
All right, back to Jimmy.
I stopped to see a weeping willow crying on his pillow. Maybe he's crying for me. To me, I'm lonesome as I can be. searching for me. I stopped.
Hey, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down there for more AM Joy and the rest of MSNBC. And click on any of the videos right here to watch the latest interviews and highlights. And you can get more videos from MSNBC for free every day with our newsletter. Just visit
Isn't it swell? The memes make themselves. They found a rabbi hole, tunnels and all. There's Jews in the walls. Isn't it bliss? The rabbinical grace soiling the mattresses. Well, let me tell you. If I were Rabbi Shmuley and diddle 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 digga digga diddle diddle dum, all day long I'd diddle little bums. If I were a Shmuley man, I'd peddle all my dildos, dreidel dildos, selling dildos with my daughter and her mum. If I were a Jewish Shmuley man, I'd be digging with a dildo in my bum. I'd wear a grotesque nose and go grab some goyim right on the nipple with a pinch. A Shabbos lap dance brace for the youngest mensch.
At this time, more than any other time, you know, revolution is necessary. It is necessary. Not only based on what has happened with the MOVE organization, you know, the babies that have been murdered, you know, MOVE adults that have been murdered, bombs being dropped on us, but past that to what is happening with all black people, so-called minority people, you know, money poor people. You know, this government, as has been said earlier, has waged war on us. But you know, something about us, particularly here in America, we don't really understand that. You know, we don't really know what war is. You know, for black people, for poor people, that people see as good, that they wasn't forced to do, that they didn't do to try to keep black people appeased, you know, and calm down so that black people wouldn't riot. A prison situation is a crystallized example of that. You can make phone calls in prison. They have movies in prison, but they don't have those things because they just want to be nice to prisoners. They have those things because they know damn well if they don't have, you know, people being able to contact their family. If they don't have, facilities for people to sit there and watch movies, people are going to be frustrated, upset, and they're going to direct that frustration at them prison administrators. And they're going to have riots on their hands. They're going to have people in them prisons turning them prisons out. That's why they have movies. That's why they have access to phones the way they do. And to stop to it when we don't like it, or encouraging it when it's something that's in our interest. We have to call the shots. The people have to take the reins of this system and start dictating, what we need, what needs to be done. And, taking the initiative to do it ourselves. We can't rely on this system. Don't people see what's happening? Every single confrontation that MOVE people have been involved in, every single issue, oppression, economic issues, every single issue facing our people, is something that can be dealt with very, very simply. All people got to do is make their wishes known. All people have to do is stand up and say, listen, we're not accepting that. Unity is the key. Unity is the key to revolution. Revolution ain't nothing to be afraid of. It ain't nothing to shy away from. Revolution, contrary to what officials, this system and those backing the officials running the system, want people to believe that revolution means violence, means blood in the street. I'm saying it can get to that point, but it don't have to be violent. When people come together and take a strong stand on an issue, this government don't have no choice but to listen. Where you think they get their authority from? They don't have no power, but they do have authority to do certain things. Where you think they get it from? They get it from us, from the people. They get it from us accepting the things that they do to be done to stop it. Then you have some people who want to then turn around and say, yeah, well, it's the best we have, and want to make excuses. The time for excuses is over. It's over. Every man, woman, and child has to be involved in this revolution. Not only has to be, but is, whether you want to be or not. Our babies gave their lives for this revolution on May 13th. Men, women, and children were murdered. And not just MOVE babies. What about all of the young men, women, children 8, 9 years old shot down on the street by cops, by drug pushers? Where do you think that mentality comes from? It comes from this system, from the mentality of this system of getting over, making a quick buck, I'm saying that's where that needs to be done to stop it. Then, what I want people to really, really understand is that it's past time. It is past time for poor people, black people, to realize that this system has failed you. It has failed you. You can't get nothing from it. And what people got to do is withdraw our support from it and start doing for ourselves. That's what we got to do. How long are people going to sit back and beg, this government to do what's right, when for hundreds of years, all you've gotten is a slap in the face. All you've gotten is this government kicking your ass. That's all. That's all black people have ever gotten from this government.